PS5. In general, I'm just so tired of the console wars bullshit. Like it does nothing for me. And
have you seen Josh's little vignettes on
I did see it. And it doesn't make sense to me, because to me brand loyalty is stupid. Like,
well, yeah,
I understand the nostalgia, but blindly following a brand because of nostalgia is a bad choice.
Or getting mad at people for having Game Pass and wanting to play games, or having exclusives.
The whole thing's stupid. I don't want more exclusives, though. I hope we get to the point where there's less exclusives. I do hope that's the case someday, because I think the more people who can play stuff, the better in general. Like,
but then Sony fanboys get mad that stuff ends up on Steam or whatever.
I don't care. Who gives a shit? If Xbox got Miles Morales, cool. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, that doesn't take away my enjoyment of the game. If anything, I can now talk to Josh about it. Like, that might bring more enjoyment to the game for me. I just don't know why people care so much about nothing.
Well, yeah, and like, didn't Sony owns Insomniac's intellectual property now, and I think I was hearing that they re-upped the trademark on Sunset Overdrive.
Yeah, who cares? That game sucked. I know that has a cult following, but it sucked. It was stupid. It was a terrible Jet Set Radio.
I would say I've tried to play it, and I just haven't gotten into it.
Yeah, because it sucked.
The locomotion is cool in it, and you can see the spark that it took, and they were able to translate their locomotion engine into Spider-Man.
Yeah, they're polishing a turd. That's all it is. It's not good. I don't know why people talk so highly of it. I don't get it. I don't get it. But Insomniac's a fantastic studio in general. And you know, I wouldn't be opposed to seeing their games go to Xbox someday. Like, I think it's better. I could see why they wouldn't want to invest. Sony Studios wouldn't want their games to go to Game Pass potentially. I could see that argument. But selling more games on the Xbox consoles, like, I don't see why that would be a bad thing for them.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would think Microsoft would want Ori on PlayStation if they could get it. They already have it on Switch.
Yeah, I mean, more people who play your game, the better.
I feel like we've already started. Should I just say, hey, we're pressing pause? What's up?
Well, I don't even see the live video yet.
It's there. We have one concurrent viewer.
I don't know how to live.
It's me.
How did you get there?
YouTube, and then on the left-hand side, it should have live channels.
Yeah. All right, I got you. I had to refresh. I'm getting some feedback of my own voice.
I muted immediately.
Okay, it was you. Yeah, I mean, we could start whatever. I don't know what else. If there's anything else.
Do we have intro music or anything yet? We talked about using one of Josh's tracks.
We can all hum something else.
Professional podcast. We're like 3 months into this, aren't we?
We'll all go sheesh. But we gotta do it at different octaves. You ready?
Wait, what are we doing? You cut out.
I didn't start the call. We're on US West. Okay, good.
No.
Are you guys still getting feedback?
No.
Perfect.
Hello. No.
Okay. No. All right. Are we ready?
Yeah.
All right. This is the Press Pause Podcast. I'm your host, Josh. My co-hosts are coming to us from the Pacific Northwest. He loves to wear sunglasses during the day and at night. Always is in a hat, and nobody has brighter teeth than Hate Zero. What's up, dude?
What is going on? And what is up, Pause Gang? It's your boy, Hate Zero, your hero.
And coming at us from 6,000 feet elevation, where it can be 70 and snowing in the same day, Nightcrawler. What's up, dude?
Hey, how's it going? It's Crawler coming at you.
How was that?
That was great.
For intros, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't need music. We got intros.
I mean, music might, jazz things up a little bit. I don't know.
We'll get some eventually. It'll maybe by the next episode we'll have music. How about that? Oh,
okay.
If not 2 episodes from now, for sure. So, what are we talking about?
Do we ever know?
I got my comment for you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Let's start off that. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
That's always a good thing to kick off with.
All right, before I just got to plug the other shows. The Warzone Show, Xbox Now Podcast, Nintendo Powercast, Smash Bros. Cast, Animal Crossing Podcast. The Bendu Podcast is Star Wars. It's going to be everywhere soon. I'm going to take care of that. It's on YouTube right now, though. Mulehorn Gaming. We just recorded an episode. Is that all of them? I think so.
You need a podcast network.
I know. I just need to make my own network, I think, for just myself. So, yeah. So there you go. There's that. The comment today I woke up to because I had an Apex video go viral today on TikTok.
Oh, okay.
That's what it said. Why do all the jobless dads play Apex? And it took everything inside me to reply, why are all the dadless kids such dicks? But I didn't because
you held back.
I held back.
So what'd you do to engage the return comment without being a dick?
Nothing. There were so many. I was like, they're all fighting in there already to do enough with the algorithm that I'm like,
So it's just a bunch of cats in a bag that
oh,
you just
it
sent to
is
shake?
definitely cats in a bag, and I just sprayed it with water basically. So yeah.
What was the video that got this?
I downloaded the new character for Apex, Valkyrie.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Classic video game. If you sit in the menu too long, Sonic used to tap his foot and then fall asleep. She flies up, comes back down, sits crisscross applesauce, cracks a beer on her arm, drinks it, and then flies off again. So I was like, I'll make a TikTok showcasing that because a lot of people probably won't see that.
Yeah, you just don't sit in the screen that long.
People don't
have the patience
anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, that's cool. I mean, literally 2-second TikTok. It's what goes viral. I have been putting out like TikToks that take me 45 minutes.
Yeah, you've been complaining about this for the last 2 months.
It kills me. I'm just like, just F the effort. It doesn't do anything. Like it doesn't do anything. So anyway, that was it. Yeah, that was
in elementary school. We had a kid named Chris in my class, and he told the teacher. This was in first grade. He told the teacher he got too embarrassed every time she said crisscross applesauce, so we had to say blank sauce applesauce. That was how we sat. We sat blank sauce applesauce. Thanks a lot, Chris.
Was he the same kid that would point out the rules in the playground, like don't climb on the outside of the slide, only in the inside?
No, he really wasn't. He was. I mean, he was one of the normal kids who was roughhousing and everything else, but he didn't like blank sauce applesauce. He did not want his name in there. And I'm sure like we teased him like, crisscross, or I don't know. I mean, it's so stupid, but
right.
We had to say blank sauce applesauce. There you go.
Oh, I hated it when I was a kid to be like, oh, I'm just joshing you. I'm like, I don't know what that means.
No.
So
I don't like that you're using my name.
I don't
in a sentence like that. I don't trust it.
I'm just joshing. What? What is
that makes sense.
Now I don't like it when I hear I'm pulling a Josh. I'm like, hey, now, come on.
Well, that is very pointed and specific towards you now,
yeah.
Right? Like that's become something else,
right?
Yeah. Don't faint in Monster Hunter.
That's right. Oh my gosh, don't faint in Monster Hunter. So,
We've all been playing games this week, a decent amount, I think.
A lot of games. Eric
finished a game. Josh finished a game.
Yeah.
I started a brand new one, which Eric's been playing a little bit that I'm ready to talk about. Eric, what'd you finish?
I finished Days Gone. Well, I rolled credits, in Days Gone. There is more story after the credits, and there's still more for me to do. But yeah, I rolled the credits, so I can now take a break from that world. Although I really enjoy it and am thoroughly considering a new game plus run. So
you like this game enough to play it a second time, because that.
I know, crazy, right?
That is shocking right now. Like, it's
shocking to me. Like a lot of these open world games just don't click with me, and this one didn't either until like the 8-hour mark, which is a long time to wait for a game to get good. And yeah, I mean, for whatever reason, like the story just resonated with me. And I think kind of what changed is a lot of times I go into a game and I want to play the game my way. And I went into Days Gone with that same mentality, and I didn't enjoy the game, and I put it down for like 6 months. Yeah, I put it down for a long time. And then I picked it back up, and I thought, like, okay, I'm this mongrel motor club, former army, drifter now. And so the most important thing to me in my entire life, my entire existence, would be my motorcycle. And so I kind of went into it like, rather than playing the way I want to play, started playing the way I thought like that character would play, and it completely changed my interaction with this game. And a lot of the complaints I had, which some of them were like, when you get far away from your bike, you can't recall your bike like you can in other like with horses you can whistle. Yeah, or in like I think Grand Theft Auto, you can have your car delivered to you via the phone app. So obviously you can't do that. So it's like, man, now your bike's like hella far, and so that sucks. But then I started thinking, like, that's not how this dude would play. Like, your bike is the most important thing in your entire existence. You're not going to get out of line of sight of that thing in this post-apocalyptic world. So long story short, I love the game. I love the game world, and yeah, I don't want to leave it yet.
Yeah, I need to go back to it. But like one of the opening scenes, right, is his bike breaks down and he like covers it with tree branches and stuff to hide it, so he can come back and find it later. Yeah,
just gotta point out the chat right now, because we are doing this live on YouTube. Right, Press Pause has its own YouTube channel. The Johnny Bo said, yeah, get good and that won't happen, referring to me dying in Monster Hunter. And Nate says, I witnessed Josh roll credits. Unicorns are real and pigs can fly. So.
It's true.
It is. And Josh is repping the game he rolled credits on.
I am.
He is. Look at that. Titanfall 2 for those of you listening, for all 7 of you. And so yeah, I mean, real quick with Days Gone, I think the story becomes more engrossing as it goes on, because you kind of start off and you don't know a lot, and it doesn't really give you a lot of backstory. Like, you get thrown in, there's a really quick like, here's the events of the night, and then like fast forward to 700 days later or some odd days later.
like the wedding or whatever, right? And then it flashes forward. Yeah.
And so so you don't really learn to care about the characters for quite a while, but once you do, like, I thought the acting was phenomenal. I think Deacon's portrayal of this 10th Army or 10th Army or 10th Mountain Army Division character is a pretty accurate representation of what this dude would have been like, who had seen time in Iraq or Afghanistan. I forget where he ended up going, but it's just, yeah, I mean, I think they nailed it. It's a fantastic game. And then as you progress in the game, like the game doesn't really ramp up in difficulty with you. So like the game starts off maybe too hard, and as you get better weapons and more skills, the game doesn't really increase in difficulty. So you can just take on more, and those situations that you would have earlier ran away from, you're now confident enough to take on. So it's kind of fun. I did take out the sawmill horde, and
how long did that take you?
Well, it took me reloading like 15 times because things didn't go my way. To start it off, I wanted everything to go right. So, I'm using attractors and I'm trying to knock out as many as I can with explosives right out the gate. And then it's, trying to funnel them through points, pick off as many as you can, run around, funnel them through points. It took me probably 30 minutes.
That E3 demo is pretty, it's probably pretty the same, right? Of like what the actual play space was, because wasn't the E3 demo of the Sawmill Horde?
Yeah, they changed the look of the Sawmill Horde a little bit. Like I think it looks more dated now than it did in the E3 demo. It's like a lot more red. I remember the E3 video, I think, had a lot more like browns in it. So it changed in color. But the size of the horde, I don't think changed. I think I had like 600 years or something from that for the bounties. So there's a lot, and they swarm on you quick. And so you got to be mindful of your stamina. You got to be you can't tackle even after beating that horde. That's the biggest horde in the game. If I stumble across a horde, I still can't just tackle it without a plan. Like, you have to plan out what you're going to do, otherwise they're going to be on you too quick and you're going to get overwhelmed. So it's a lot of fun.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What you been playing, Crawler?
I bought a $70 game, and Eric.
That's shocking. I feel shocked.
This is what shock feels
game.
like.
I bought Returnal. I had it preloaded and was ready to go.
You bought a $70 roguelike too.
I know.
You bought it digital?
I Xbox and PlayStation, I've been kind of moving that way. The Switch is
that's
the only
a guaranteed game to trade in.
No, this one's fun.
I'm playing the heel tonight. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
So tell us about it.
It's a challenging game. I mean, they don't pull punches. When I think the splash screen at the beginning is like, this is a hard game. Be ready for it. You will die. It kind of just warns you. I'm skeptical of some of the stuff I've seen online of people like posting runs where they have only died. Like, I think I saw something on Twitter that was like somebody said they finished with like 11 deaths. I'm like, no, I don't think so.
Somebody posted a full complete, both acts, 0 deaths.
I'm sure. Run. So I'm sure speedrunners have maybe. Yeah. Isn't there supposed to be a guaranteed death? Like, I think IGN put up a video of like, what if you don't die where you're supposed to die?
That first boss you encounter, I can't imagine how any human could beat it. But maybe that death doesn't count against you because it's part of the story.
Like, I think you have to die to be able to get the sword, but I'm not sure.
Oh, I don't know. I have died, definitely.
I've died. Yeah, I've gotten careless on some stuff and just run into, especially when I want to get back to where I was. But it's a procedurally generated roguelike, and it's really cool. It has upgrade stuff that you're working towards. Like, I was excited to beat the second boss because you get the grappling hook, which opens up so much more of just the first biome when you're in there. And I found it actually leads a shortcut to the third biome over across the bridge. I'm sure you've come up on the bridge, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. So
can't cross it yet though.
Yeah, so the game has a really unique way of offering you shortcuts to get back to where you are, but it doesn't really behoove you to do that right away. Like, I took the bridge after I beat the second boss and had died in the third biome, and going back there, if you don't find a weapon that's up to snuff, that biome is the enemies are going to just kick your ass really hard.
Yeah. Here's a question that I haven't experienced yet. Do the bosses have to be beaten again?
No, they don't have to. So like, okay. the key in you've faced the first boss. Yeah. That door that was locked until you found the key remains unlocked, and I think there's a guaranteed weapon drop before you go down into the boss fight. So if you happen across, you'll notice patterns of rooms. It's like the Zelda Build-A-Dungeon thing in what's it called? But it's not restricted to doors having to be wherever they are, like the Dungeon Maker was in Link's Awakening. So whatever door you go through can lead to any of the other rooms that you've found. I think I'm at like 88% exploration in the first biome because I haven't spent a ton of time going back into it since I've gotten the grappling hook, and that's going to lead to more stuff. But now I've found a new barrier. Like the first barrier is the red walls that you have to be able to melee. Yeah. The second barrier is grappling hook gaps that you can't cross. And now this third barrier is these gold walls that are like force field that I don't know how to break through. So the game has really unique barriers. It's got like Metroid-y kind of vibes, but it's also a roguelike. So it's, I mean, the only thing I think that persists through the runs is ether, which you can, which is good to kind of build up a stash of, because you can find these rooms called reclaimer rooms, and it pretty much guarantees a respawn without resetting your run if you die. And there's also, I think the astronaut emblem gives you like a fairy rebirth, like from Zelda. So it'll just revive you right there on the spot.
Yeah,
which is
I used that on the first boss.
Yeah, I've beaten the first boss once, and I've gone back a few times just to try to do it, just to get more powerful upgrades and stuff. And I've gotten sloppy with it and died. It, like, the game doesn't pull punches. It's a very challenging game.
Does your weapon proficiency progress through runs?
It resets.
Does okay.
Because the weapons, there are pickups. I think they're like blue. I don't know what the name is of everything. There's a name for everything in the menu if you go look at all the different artifacts and stuff.
Yeah.
But do
people do that? Like, here, let's pull for the 7 listeners you have, please hit us up and let me know. Does anyone go through and take the time on these types of games to actually read all this lore? Because the developers have taken a ton of time putting it all in there. There's so much content that you can like dig into, and I pretty much ignore all of it in every game, like, being completely honest. And so I'm just curious, are people enthralled by this, and like, is this important to people?
Look at the chat. The chat says LOL, no.
Okay, that's kind of where I'm at too, but a lot of games are taking the time to put this like backstory and lore to items and whatever else. So anyways, carry on, Crawler.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm definitely getting like I don't know how much you've played, but are you getting kind of a Aliens, Prometheans kind of vibe?
Definitely.
I mean, it's definitely there.
It reminds me a lot of that Tom Cruise movie, and not just the dying cycle of it, but kind of the dark nature.
The tentacled aliens. Yeah.
Yeah. What the hell is that called?
Live, Die, Repeat, or
was,
Day
that
After.
Was their
that was their slogan.
That
or
was
whatever.
their slogan. Yeah.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah, it like is also named after another movie, so they had to do something with it. It was kind of funky.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it feels a lot like that. So it does kind of have like the aliens, definitely that like dark aliens vibe, but then, you know, the repeat cycle, definitely the Edge of Tomorrow. Can we talk about, without getting spoilery, we'll talk about something else about the game, but I think, you know, we've heard and talked about over and over that people are saying this is the best use of next-gen consoles we've seen, so on and so forth. But the first time I played that game and was messing with the controller, and something as subtle as how well, when you were watching that ship fly in, you feel the left to right on the HD rumble. Like, that was so immersive and impressive to me. And then all the other little quirks that they've added.
So, I mean, I know Johnny's in chat here, and I know he tweeted about this on Friday night or whatever, first night of the game being out, and was complaining about the haptic trigger and the half pull for ADS. And there's a different option for people if they don't want it. Alternate fire for your gun is a full pull, and I had like a half pull, and the trigger puts a artificial stop
It's
in
a pretty solid stop.
Yeah. And what I posted in his tweet was like, I think it's really cool that they found a way to add an extra button on like an already 15, 16 button controller, whatever, however many buttons are on a modern controller now. They found a way to add an extra button. Like, you're not going to use that on the right trigger, but the left trigger, it's an extra button kind of.
I agree. And it didn't bother me. It took me, a little, it took me honestly only probably 5 minutes to kind of get used to what they were going for. It is something you have to be mindful of, but it's a noticeable amount of extra force you have to push to activate the second function.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I really liked is they have a very distinct rumble tied to when that is active.
And a audio cue. I almost want to turn off the audio cues just because they are kind of loud. And I'm playing with headphones most of the time.
So can we talk about the 3D audio on this game? Because their use of the Tempest.
I was going to say, I'm curious because you have the headset, right?
Yeah, but you should be getting 3D audio with any headset. I mean, the Pulse 3D are tuned for it, but at the end of the day, it'll work on any headphones.
Yeah. I mean, the sounds in this game, we were talking about earlier before. I mean, I guess everything's going up now anymore as soon as Josh takes us live with YouTube. But just like the sound that the tentacles make when they reach out for you, and the audio cues built into the controller with the alternate fire being ready to go, but also the controller has a distinct rumble, and there's 3 senses that activate when your alt fire's up. There's like 3 dots or something like that come up on your crosshair. The controller chimes at you, and then the controller rumbles for you.
But even in the middle of an intense battle, you can forget that your alt is ready. Like, even with all those cues, it's easy to lose that. So I think this game probably has the best use of 3D audio I've experienced in a video game so far. If you're paying attention and playing with it, and I don't know, when you use your headphones, can you adjust the height of where your 3D audio sits, or is that a Pulse only thing?
I think I'm just plugged into a mixer. I think with these headphones, I have the option to plug them in via USB into my actual computer if I were going to do it, and I think I could adjust a lot more if I were doing that, but I'm not. So I'm kind of just at the mercy of what I have with my mixer.
I can pretty easily identify where an enemy is when I'm hearing them, and roughly how far away they are. And so it makes it gives a new dynamic to how you're tackling these rooms, because now you're the eyes in the back of your head is the sound, and you can kind of gauge like, okay,
does adrenaline adjust that? I know, because adrenaline adjusts like visual, like seen through walls and stuff. Does your adrenaline level adjust audio at all?
Not that I've noticed. I mean, I'd have to.
There's 4 different levels of adrenaline, so I'm sure there's something that triggers with each.
Maybe. I don't know that I've gotten past like adrenaline 2. I don't even.
Oh, 5 you feel like a badass.
I don't think I've never felt like a badass yet. I feel very much like just regular ass in this game, like just total ass. So, but all in all, I'm excited to dive in deeper. I didn't play a lot because I didn't want to get too far down before I beat Days Gone. I wanted to get back to it after. So, I will.
Most of the reviews of this game have been very positive. I think one of the biggest critiques of it is that it needs some kind of save state because it holds your PlayStation hostage. I think either PlayStation can remedy this if they can find a way to
quick resume.
That's where I'm going. PlayStation could take Housemarque off the hot seat if they found a way to utilize their SSD and just cache where you are in your game and let the program close and be able to resume or play something else on the side.
Yeah.
Reviewers, there was a system update that came out like a day or two before the review embargo was up, and I think a few people lost whatever progress they were on their run, because if the system is in sleep and it has a system update, it closes all your apps and reboots the system.
Yeah, if you have auto update on.
Yeah. I think Housemark, I saw their tweet today. It's like, don't update our game. We're reverting back to such and such a save, because they got some kind of bug crash after you die in a boss fight, I think, and you come back, it crashes your game. So I checked my status. I hadn't seen an update. I'm not asking it to push for an update, but I'm also not clear on their Twitter if they've been able to revert it yet. So they're in the process of trying to revert back to an old save state, or like a game update state, so they can work past this bug. But I think Housemark hears a lot of the criticism of it, but I think the smart way to do anything, if they're going to do a save, is it's got to be a one-time use, maybe per run or something like that. It can't be abused. And once you create that save state and you come back in and resume,
why can't it be abused? Why couldn't they just let you save on the fly? Like, I understand that makes the game easier because you can just reload, but like, I have never understood why a developer cares. If that makes you play their game longer to where you don't throw your controller down and say, forget it. Like, I don't know why they would care. I don't understand why they didn't put saves into the game. If you're that hardcore, then you don't need them. Don't save then, right? Like, if you're that OG badass, don't save. No big deal. But for the rest of us who are not that and still want to beat the game, why not let us save? Why would that detract from your enjoyment of the game?
I think there is something there. I think after you beat Biome 3, I think you always start at Biome 4. I think there's 6 biomes in the game. So there is some kind of small thing, but there is no proper save in the middle of the of a run. Yeah. And these runs can be a while, like 2 to 3
hours. Yeah, I mean, that's a long run. And so why not
Nintendo with like Super Mario 3D World and with the new Super Mario Bros. U, you had your save points when you beat a castle, but you could also just do a quick save. And when you came back, that save was gone. So it was on you to do it again, but it sounds like that's what this game really needs. Just if they don't a quick resume, just to have that ability.
I like the idea of preserving what the vision of this game is, and it's not too. If you could have a save state and you could do whatever, then you could be overly cautious in not overly cautious. You could be more reckless in every room,
and you could beat the game without dying, which isn't the intent, right?
Yeah, and you can you could make sure you went around to every single. You could have a 9-hour run where you just go to make sure you go touch every room, open every box, get all the parasites, just level yourself up so you're crazy strong, and then it just becomes that much easier because there is no fear of death.
But if you're having fun doing that as the player, like why? It's the same thing. Like, so I guess Returnal, you can put in a USB keyboard and there's cheats you can unlock. Like, there's literal cheat codes you can get with the USB keyboard plugged into your PS5, and people are pissed about it. And it's like, why does this somehow ruin? Like, are you going to now? I don't know what this does for if someone else is cheating in a non-multiplayer game. I don't know how this takes away from your fun. Like, how are they peeing in your Cheerios? In this
Johnny's talking in chat here, and he brings up a good point. Hades, you can quit out and save. It's I don't know if it quick saves after every room. It might, but you don't have controls over you can't reload your save. So you can load into an instance. That's what it needs. It needs I'm quitting the game, but it doesn't give you it. There's a save screen, but there's no loading screen.
Yeah. So if you die, you can't load back in.
That's what the quick save is. As soon as you load back in, it's gone. And you can't save and then continue playing. It's just I gotta go, mom says it's dinner time. I need to
save, quit, and your PlayStation isn't off.
What if you're in a household where like 4 of you play on one console? You can't really enjoy this game in that scenario. I mean,
this is like an NES scenario at this point. You're like, Mom, make sure you don't unplug my.
I saw a tweet today that's like Returnal's the modern day equivalent to turning off your TV on an NES run.
Yeah, it basically just press pause and turn off the TV, right? So, I understand what they were going for. Death is part of this game. It's not a bad thing. It's nothing to be afraid of. But the problem is death happening in the game is one thing, but you losing a 2-hour run because of an update or something, that's not a death. That just sucks.
Mm-hmm.
So I wish they would do something to fix that. But
I think it's been made aware, and I think it's something they're working on.
Is it worth $70?
That's all I played.
Let me ask you. Well, I don't want to answer that question in that format because.
But that's a real.
Well, what you're asking me is it worth full price for a game? That's all it is nowadays.
Let me ask you this: Call of Duty is $70.
Yeah, all next gen games.
Activision's greedy.
All the next gen games are $70.
Right.
Miles was a DLC, and that's why it was $40 or whatever. It wasn't a full blown game essentially.
Let's not even say Call of Duty, because if you don't play Call of Duty, you may not want to spend $70 on sports games. Throw those out the window. Hell no, they should not be $70.
But they are.
They should be an update to the roster. And but let's say Jedi: The Fallen Order 2, right?
Yeah.
That's going to be $70.
Sure.
Does Returnal? Do you like? Does it feel? You can't give a wrong answer, and I'm not going to be like, ha! Like I don't like.
No.
I want the devs supported, right?
Sure.
I just want to know if this seems more like a beautiful indie.
No, it's a full blown title.
If it's worth that's my question. Not is it worth the $70? Because
it's worth a full retail price for video games, whether that's 60, 70.
The argument against 60, 70 is
that's a separate argument.
Yeah,
that we all have to live with now.
I think I think this is
have to live with it, Crawler.
I mean, we made Xbox go back on doubling the price of Xbox Live. Made Sony stop taking the PlayStation 3 and Vita's store offline. So maybe gamers can have some kind of word in this conversation.
I think it's too late. We already have been paying the $70. It's over.
Well, so we'll come back to that in a second, because I think there's a big something that hasn't happened to fully address that in the marketplace. But when it comes to Returnal, I think the biggest uphill battle it faces is it got great reviews, and I think people that have actually played it and aren't review bombing, which is another thing, which is stupid, which has happened in Nintendo games, Xbox games, PlayStation. It
happened with The Last of Us 2, which is the greatest game ever made. Anyways, carry on.
But I think it's a brand new IP. As one of the first games on a next gen console that's embracing this $70 price tag, which it came out on the same day as Pokemon Snap, which.
Can we talk about this? This is a game where you're on rails taking pictures of Pokemon.
True.
Why are more people not pissed about this? Like,
guess who didn't pick it up?
I bought it, but I haven't really played it. I bought it for $50 at Walmart because I was like, I'll get it for $10.
You'll pay $50 on that, and you're complaining to me about.
I didn't pay full price for that. The happy surprise out of going to pick up Pokemon Snap is I found a DualSense charging station at my Walmart, so I'm happy with that. But what do you got, Josh?
Wouldn't Returnal have been $60 at Walmart?
Maybe, I don't know, but I didn't want the disc.
Yeah, I don't know. Throw it.
I don't even know if my disc drive works. To be 100% honest, the PS5 has the loud disc drive issue. I don't even know if I have that. Never put one in.
here's ultimately what is kind of pissing me off, to be perfectly honest.
Okay.
This game sounds badass. The stuff you guys described with the audio,
You like it.
It's a Josh game.
You're a Metroid fan. You would love this game.
Yeah.
You like aliens.
Yet all I see is this back and forth over, oh, it's 3D audio, but it doesn't have Dolby Atmos or whatever. And I'm just like,
So no PlayStation 5 doesn't support Atmos at all. They didn't pay the licensee. They built their own 3D audio engine called the Tempest engine. So they're never going to have Atmos. Period.
yeah.
I don't think Disney Plus supports Atmos on PS5 because PlayStation doesn't do Atmos at all.
It's the fuel that the fanboys use to fight each other, right?
They're stupid. Both sides are stupid.
It's ridiculous. We should be celebrating how sick this game is and the stuff that it's doing, and it all gets overshadowed by the price. And
the funny thing is, Microsoft is, PlayStation is. When either side has a good game, the other side celebrates it. Did you read in some of this Apple versus Epic stuff and Xbox's? I don't know why it got released, but Xbox basically did an internal review of The Last of Us.
I'm going to talk about it on a show tomorrow. I haven't seen much about it, but
okay. Well, we don't have to talk about it, but it was a pretty sterling review, and so it's just the stupid fanboys. That's all it is, and at the end of the day, both brands are laughing to the bank. Right. Like they don't care that Karen is upset that Returnal's not using Atmos, right? Like they don't care.
Yeah. So I mean, I think this is a definite first day you get your hands on a PS5.
Mhm.
I mean, if you ever get your PS4, I can give you access to my PS5 via remote play, and you can play it.
You could do that with my backbone right now.
Probably, yeah.
I'm serious. I'm like, I wonder if this would work from that far away. Like, who knows? But yeah, that's the thing. That's what I'm getting like.
Yeah,
because I'm even getting bombarded by it. I mention anything about Xbox on Twitter, and I tag the right person, or it gets retweeted, and it's like people are going crazy.
It's not new though. This happened at the last console launch too. It will kind of taper off and die down a little bit. I
think both are more viable right now than they were last gen.
Here's all it boils down to: Idiot Sam, Idiot Karen,
Chad. We'll call him Chad.
Chad and Karen are just trying to justify their purchase by flaming the other brand. That's all it is. I just spent $500, and this better be the best damn one. So the other one is a piece of shit, right? Like that's all it boils down to.
I'm upset that your $500 machine gets my game that I'm paying $70 for free on Game Pass. So I'm upset.
Yeah, that ruins my day.
Chat says sometimes I'm asking for it, and I know because like I know how to push the buttons, right? I know what to say because I the last guy that I started going crazy on Twitter with me, I was like, I just kept instigating, and then finally I was like, bro, your opinion is honestly irrelevant. I'm just doing this for engagement, right? People love that. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
I'm sure. That. Because I'm just like, I don't know how these conversations end. You're right. I just took my Xbox out back and smashed it. Are you happy? Is that what you wanted? I can't.
Next time you need to go to the info sheet on your tweet engagement and just be like, thanks, and just snapshot it.
I tweeted it out. That's what I did. That's after the combos. I was like, dang, I need to get these fanboys talking more often, because like my mind's made up. You know what I mean? I enjoy games. Like I'm literally the next shirt I'm making is just enjoy video games. Like that's
you need to have all three somewhat symbols.
How can you enjoy a game if the other side is enjoying games too?
I talked about it on Xbox Now today. It's like literally where you grew up are the sports teams that you like, and therefore you have to hate the other ones. And it's like, dude, if I want to just watch football because football's on, unless it's the Patriots, and that's what I said earlier too, and I'm joking.
Well, everyone
Like-
hates the Patriots. Don't worry.
And
So
I know, but at the end of the day, you still just get to watch football. You still get to play video games. Like, I just don't know where it ends. I think we talk about it all the time, but I'm like, where's the end game here? What? Like, I don't.
It'll peter out. I think it's just tied to, there's excitement. People had to make a choice, right? 2 consoles launching within the same week. People had to make a choice. Some people got both. That's fine. Some people got neither. That's also fine. But ultimately, people had to make a choice. Do I get Xbox? Do I get PlayStation 5? And whatever choice they made, they want to make sure they're right. And the only way to do that they know how is to just shit all over the other one. Like, the other one has to have not been worth it. I made the right choice at the end of the day.
guess what? They don't care because PlayStation has the fastest selling console in console generation history, and Xbox posted numbers that said
all that means
they're up like 200 and something odd % in sales from last year.
All that means is
they're making their
PlayStation.
money.
PlayStation has the fastest. That means they had the most
bought up their
machines
chips.
produced. Exactly. That's all that means, because every console launch they're selling 100%. So all it means is they made more this time.
Series X you still can't find, just like you can't find a PlayStation 5. They just happen to make more PlayStation 5s, and they have a joint SKU, whereas Microsoft has a split SKU. So, because PlayStation 5 is still a PlayStation 5 if it has a disk drive or not.
Right.
The X and the S are actually separate SKUs, kind of. I mean, they're both separate SKUs, but I think Sony's counting everything under one banner.
Yeah, definitely. They're both.
So, I mean,
it's all next gen consoles, but yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter.
And Nintendo's still happy where they're at too, because they're still selling consoles. They had a whole year of selling out of consoles.
Yeah.
But my big question, looping back around to the $70, is we have Game Pass, and Activision and some other companies have released quote unquote next gen titles. I mean, it's now the current. I think we're 6 months in now. It's current.
It's current gen. Yeah.
So Call of Duty and some of the other stuff on Xbox, but we haven't seen a proper first party release. I think Double Fine probably going to have the first game come out. I don't know if we're going to even see any first party stuff before E3. But
are we talking beyond, like, because the argument that you see from the Sony fanboys is 600 days. There's an account that I was tweeting with that is literally 600 days since you've had an exclusive. That's the name of the account.
What was it? Was it Crackdown 3?
I don't even know, but Gears Tactics and Medium
probably Tactics
Tactics. I don't even think it's been that long, but
Tactics technically hasn't even come out on a console yet.
Well, that's not an exclusive, dummy. It's a PC game.
All Xbox games are now, aren't they? Like,
they're not exclusives, dum-dums.
But
again, even though it's like, okay, sorry.
But so we have Game Pass, but like, what is Microsoft going to price their games at for people that want to purchase the games not on Game Pass, like that are on Game Pass for subscribers, but you can still purchase their games? Are they going to price them at 70 or are they going to keep them at 60? That's the big question. And I think
they'll be $70.
Do you think?
Oh yeah, no doubt. Like, no question.
Because they're not going to go against EA and everyone else. Like, the price has already been set for next gen, so they're not going to undercut them.
Look, we don't know the conversations that have happened as retail has been undermined. They may, like, if you guys have listened to any of the, like, or read any of the, like, console wars, like the history, like, retail dictated so much of what we received as consumers.
That's why E3 exists in the ESA, and it's a sales pitch to the retailer. The retailers show up to E3 and make their purchases based on audience reaction.
Right.
That's how they sell games.
So because, and again, I'm speculating here, but because retail is losing out to digital, part of the $70 price tag.
95%, I think Sony released stats. It was like 95% of all video games were purchased digital this last year. I mean, that's due to the pandemic big time, but the shift has also been, and you were acting surprised when I said I downloaded Returnal, but like you have to install the game anyway. It's a wait. Yeah. It's a key. The discs are stupid.
Well, with the Xbox, you can, and maybe you can do this on the PlayStation as well. You can go to the store on your phone, download a game, and then when you get home, complete the purchase.
The key unlocks.
And the key unlocks. Yeah. You know, so
that's cool.
So you could potentially do that if you were going to be getting something on disc still.
Here's the biggest reason I went to digital was game sharing. You know, being able to game share with another console, and that's invaluable to me. Obviously, you wouldn't want to just do that with anyone. It's got to be either someone in your household or someone you greatly trust. But that means only buying one copy of a game where you would have normally bought 2 physical copies. Like, it just was a no-brainer for me.
Yeah, because you didn't buy Returnal.
I didn't buy Returnal. Yeah, my buddy I game share with did, and he and I have been, you know, best friends since 3rd grade, and we've been game sharing since we figured out that was a thing on PS3, I think. So it was a pain on PS3. It's much better now than it used to be. But yeah, I think so. That was the big factor for me. But can we circle back to the price point thing? Because people have argued this against me before, because I don't want any prices to raise. But if you look at the $60 in 2001 versus $60 now, it's with inflation, it's like $95. Yeah. So that $60 games were.
What were 64 carts back in the day? Like 80?
They were 72, I think.
Perfect
right?
Dark was $90 when I picked it up.
That's insanity.
But I think, well, I don't know. It may have come with the expansion pack, right? I don't remember.
That makes sense. So I thought they were 70, but either way, I had to wait till they were on sale anyways back then.
I got them as gifts. So
yeah,
I didn't really buy it back then.
So you're looking at, we haven't had a price raise in a long time. Okay, games now are like big blockbusters. The Last of Us 2 had a budget well above $100 million. And so the other argument I hear is now there's microtransactions. There's other ways for developers to make money, so they shouldn't raise their prices. The Last of Us 2 didn't have those. So are you saying that they should? So you're saying they should lower the price of their game and put in microtransactions? Because I'll kill you. I'll kill you right here where we stand if that's your solution to this problem. And
he woke up today and chose violence.
So that's I think we can't be mad at this $10 price hike. It's been a long time coming, and I know it sucks because it's $10 more, but
yeah,
they have to monetize.
So the leaders set the price point, and kind of that trickles down. You talk about a title like Last of Us 2. Mm-hmm. That goes into what Sony came out and said, what, like 3 weeks, it was like a week or two ago, where they want to focus on guaranteed blockbusters. There's and didn't Activision take like the last remaining parts of what could be Crash and roll them into being Call of Duty stuff? I mean, so it's like
Toys for Bob or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, the Last of Us Part 2 is going to make their money back. The value, the production is seen as being high quality, and they're going to make their money back. They probably made it back more so than even like CD Projekt Red with Cyberpunk, and they had made that cost back before the game even came out. So the big high quality games, they're going to make their money, and that's also a first party backed by Sony. It's not going to fold due to a sub, and it was kind of contentious with that story, and some people didn't like it.
People are stupid. Best game ever made, greatest story ever told. I didn't necessarily like the direction of the story. Let's be clear here. I am a Last of Us fan, and some of the stuff hurt me deeply, but it's not my story, and I'm along for the ride, and I can't be mad that the story didn't play out how I wanted it in my fantasy.
Yeah.
You can be mad if you're a Star Wars fan.
That bug, I don't even want to get on that too. I mean, that bothers me too. People are so entitled and they feel they have some sort of right to this story. It's not your story. I'm sorry you didn't like the way it turned out, but it's not your story.
I don't even think you can call the last 3 movies a story, so we agree there, I think. So.
It's 3 haphazard ideas that got thrown into a trilogy.
Anyhow, back to the other issue at hand.
I mean, but the shit falls down the hill, right? So the $70 game for the AAA, quadruple A, whatever we're going to see here soon from Microsoft when they roll out Perfect Dark.
Is that the next? I have to assume Halo is going to be the first AAA.
No. So Microsoft has their studio, which is the what's it called? The Initiative or
the Initiative for Perfect Dark.
Yeah, like they've called that a now for AAA or a quadruple A studio is what they're calling that.
The hell does that mean?
Nothing.
So it's a $90 game. They're just prepping you that it's going to be a $90 game.
No, it's free. It's free for me. I pay $15 a month for it.
Nothing is free, my friend. They've already got you. If you believe that, they already got you.
It's rolled into my subscription.
It's included in your price.
But when you have the leaders of the market setting the price point at 70, then what stops the crap like $20-something game from
your
raising
wallet?
Their price?
That's what stops it. So this is what we need to be asking of devs. Like, okay, I understand big blockbusters are going to be $70, right? But if your main monetizing is selling us a crap game that has a ton of DLC and microtransactions, that shouldn't be a full retail price game. That's what we should be focused on. We shouldn't be angry that a well-built, complete game is $70. We should be upset that we're getting served garbage at full retail price and with a ton of DLC and microtransactions and all that other crap. Like, that's what we should be upset about.
So should Switch games be $60? Especially if they're mostly Wii U ports?
I mean, that's Nintendo.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I don't care.
But I feel like it's part of this conversation, right? Because
it is.
If we were paying $60 for The Last of Us and we're paying $60 for Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe or Pokemon Snap.
Okay. I'll combat that question. Just because the game isn't 4K and doesn't look as high fidelity doesn't mean it didn't cost money to produce.
True.
So there's still a lot of time and effort that goes into making a Nintendo game, even though it looks like muddy crap.
Monster Hunter, Josh and I have put 60 plus hours into.
And obviously I'm joking, Nintendo stands. Like, I love the Switch too. I haven't turned mine on in months, but I do love it. I like the idea of it. It's right here. I could show it to you to prove it. Right here.
Oh, you turned it on too.
It turns on automatically when it gets pulled out of a dock.
It tricked you into turning it on.
Yeah. Now it's safely back in the dock where it'll sit for another 3 months. So, I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I think we should be looking at the same thing. So a Nintendo game full retail is whatever price, but if they're going to sell me a half game with a bunch of microtransactions, that game shouldn't be full retail price. And so that's
tell that to Call of Duty.
We should, but we don't, because we buy it every year. Everyone does, right? There's obviously selling it. And so if we want a change, we have to vote and be vocal about it.
But can't you, if people are enjoying the microtransactions,
yeah,
can't it be the same? Like, just vote with your wallet if you don't want it?
Yeah, I don't buy any microtransactions. I never have. So it doesn't really bother me. So if you're enjoying games, stop bitching about stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're enjoying it, don't bitch about it.
That's I'm right there with you. I mean, that's the thing. Like, if we're gonna complain about the $70 game and then buy every Nintendo game that comes out, you don't give a shit about the value of games. There's no way you do. Like,
yeah. You're just complaining to complain.
Exactly. Because you're not thinking
at that point, nothing's gonna happen.
No. No.
Yeah, I don't. I don't have a so here's the thing. I don't necessarily get bothered by microtransactions because I don't buy them. We've talked about cosmetics, and I use the default character model for every game I play because I like that. That's what was sold to me in the videos. That was, like we talked about Commander Shepard. I used default Commander Shepard. We talked about Mario Odyssey. I didn't change my outfits. Like I collected them all just to look at them in a gallery. Never used them. Right. And so none of that stuff. If they would have said each one of those outfits is $1.99, wouldn't have bothered me because it didn't matter to me anyways. But if they're going to do that, I expect them to take something off of the $60 price tag because I know that's how they're making a ton of their money.
But now, some of these games are heading to Game Pass, and it allows for extra transactions for the people that only paid $15 a month for that game.
Yeah. Which, so then I guess a symptom of Game Pass is it's going to fuck gaming for forever. if that's what you're telling me, then Game Pass does have a negative, and it's that it's going to ruin gaming.
I mean, the that's a new. I mean, that's not a new.
I never thought of that, but
that's another spin on it. The other spin on that is ruining the preservation of games. But I don't feel like that. I feel like Xbox is doing a whole hell of a lot more to preserve games than PlayStation is.
I don't care about the preservation, but like if you're a developer, say, I don't know, let's say you're making the new Battletoads or something, and you're going to be on Game Pass, and you sell it to Microsoft, and Microsoft says, we're going to pay you $400,000 for the development of this game, and then you can make as much whatever their deal was that you sent, right? We're going to pay the upfront cost. Now they have a vested incentive to put microtransactions in there because you on Game Pass might be more willing to throw a few dollars at them when you wouldn't have otherwise. So I think I never thought of this till right now, so I'm kind of fleshing this idea out as I go. But I think as a developer now, it stands to reason you would throw those, transactions in there because it's a free game that you're going to be maybe more willing to spend a few bucks in.
You also have to worry about the marketability across platforms if you're doing that. If you're solely exclusive to the Xbox ecosystem, then maybe you're a little more inclined to that. But I think that's more tied into being part of Xbox Studios at that point. And I would hope leadership there would I don't know if leadership there advocates for the gamer, but
they don't want to ruffle feathers, though. They want people on board. It helps
your brand by coming across as an advocate for the gamer. So, right. And Xbox has been playing catch up for the last 6 years, 7 years. How long has it been? 2014. So 7 years.
Yeah, I guess.
They've been playing catch up, and so they've painted themselves into the corner of being an advocate for the gamer. Backwards compatibility, even though use of that functionality is like in the teens, I think it's very low. But they also added 90 plus games this week to 144 hertz, or at least some kind of FPS boost in 4K.
I think backwards compatibility is much higher than that now, since there are no next gen or current gen titles. There's not many, right? So we're all playing Xbox One or PS4 games.
This is so the original backwards compatibility is OG Xbox, and then they started adding 360 stuff. 360 was easier to integrate in, but like OG Xbox, where they added Fusion Frenzy and Knights of the Old Republic and some of those old titles they added in as functionality, and that's just the performance team or whatever at Xbox on campus. It's not the devs that are doing it. It's right. Some R&D team for the Xbox that's finding ways to creatively use the SSD and the CPU and the GPU and pump out. I think developers just have to say yes, let's do it. And a switch is flipped. Yeah, and
and I think that's where Sony shot themselves in the foot with the PS3, because all the games were built around that cell processor, so they have no way of getting those backwards compatible, and that's why PS Now, the PS2 games you can download, the PS4 games you can download. You can't download the PS3 games; they have to be cloud because they have no way to emulate those on the system. Not a good way, at least. So they don't have an easy way because of the PS3 to do their entire back catalog. I think they could do PS1 and PS2.
Give it another gen or two, or a few years into this gen, and the processing power will be there. I mean,
yeah, I think
they'll be
the
able to
cell
run
processors were just so unique, and there's nothing else like
well,
it.
yeah, and that's been documented. The third-party devs bitched about it.
Yeah. But yeah, at the end of the day, I think Game Pass is a phenomenal value, and I think it's good for gaming. I never considered the microtransaction aspect of it. That is something we should keep an eye on, because I hate the microtransaction. I don't even really like DLC that much.
Well,
I'm not a big fan of that. I want complete
Thank
games.
you, Bethesda.
Look at the show, the baseball game. It's
Yeah,
had
what
the
does it
card
do?
packs forever.
Oh,
just
I
like
don't know anything about those.
Well,
just like
Do
Madden.
those cost money?
I mean, thank you, EA, for that. That's
Yeah.
EA's fault that led that into.
But there's people
And
that
2K has that too.
2K's embraced it, and now
Yeah.
Sony San Diego's embraced it. So I mean,
but there's people
can
that
you-
love it. They love it. It feeds their addiction for opening card
Yeah.
packs. Like, if they love it, I don't think it's a bad thing. It doesn't affect
your
me.
average gamer love it, or does like your streamer that has?
Well, I think
I-
that's okay.
I think there's people that love the Ultimate Team. I think there's people that buy Madden strictly for Ultimate Team just to get packs and try to put their.
Can you play that mode and enjoy it without spending $1?
I don't.
You can,
I don't.
you can
I don't know
play
about
it. I don't know
enjoy it.
how much you enjoy it. You
Yeah.
might be a masochist and hate
So
yourself.
in NBA 2K they have virtual currency, but like if you're doing the My Player, you can play through an entire season and earn money and upgrade your guy without spending any money. So I mean, so people complain because it is harder, it takes longer, but I just enjoy playing the basketball game. Like it doesn't take away from my enjoyment.
Right. And I think when microtransactions are done correctly, that's fine. I think, but like what Call of Duty does, if you want tracers on your gun and you want your gun to dismember people, you're going to pay extra for that.
And that's fine to me because I don't need those things. I don't care about cosmetic stuff. Putting like a gun behind a paywall, I don't like that. But like a gun skin, I don't care. You can charge for those all day, in my opinion.
But
And
what they've done,
Apex puts characters behind a paywall, but like you can also earn that earn that in-game currency.
Same
So
with Rainbow.
as long as there is an option to earn said thing, which I think
Well, as long as it's not too extreme, because remember how they locked Luke out of Battlefront. and-
EA pushed it as far as it could go, and it broke. And I think everything since then has been dialed back.
but even Apex, I bought the
Yeah.
Battle Pass yesterday. I then had enough currency to buy the new character because I bought the Battle Pass. That felt like a good deal. I have no problem paying the people that are making the games either, right? Like
Yeah.
Apex is free.
I want Apex to work
Yeah.
on. I paid $20 or whatever on launch day of Apex on Xbox. I want to have access to my stuff across the board,
Mhm.
which they are working on that, right?
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a ways out.
They just have to get through some walls of stuff.
Minecraft Dungeons just got it,
Yeah, I need to log into Switch so that I can make sure that save gets uploaded into the cloud, so I can then have access to it elsewhere.
Yeah.
But have you? I kind of want to transition a little bit because we're talking about crossplay and all that kind of stuff. Have you seen some of the stuff coming out of the Epic Apple lawsuit?
Yeah. Yeah.
Only,
I guess
only some.
I guess they had a PS5 and an Xbox Series X in court today, or
Yep.
something like that.
Yep.
But I think the biggest bombshell to come out today, was it today or yesterday? The Sony makes Epic pay them to have crossplay.
Yep.
Like what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, they were
that's
protecting
them
the
sitting in
kids.
that's them sitting in their ivory tower saying, "We're king shit over here. You're gonna pay us for this."
Yeah. How much do you think
When-
Discord
when-
paid to
when-
integrate
how
into
many-
PlayStation?
How many years ago was PlayStation bitching about not having crossplay? When they were
I thought
losing,
they didn't
they were
want
losing.
crossplay.
They were losing in the 360 era. I think there's some.
I don't think
I
they
think
were
people
losing
were
in
able to-
360 era.
They were losing in the 360 era. Yes,
They
were.
won. They won in that era.
In the end, they won.
In the end,
All right, we're going back way
Nothing
back to the
even
beginning
matters.
here. We're talking about fanboy bullshit. Let's go.
I didn't think they ever advocated for crossplay at all. I didn't think they ever wanted it. And
No,
in
I
the
mean,
PS3 era, they had the
I
largest hack in the basically at the time that was the largest hack ever. So
I think when they when they were seeing Call of Duty, the largest franchise, partnering with Xbox, I think they were trying to get a piece of that player base a little bit and wanted. I mean, I think it's been quite a few years now since that, but for them to sit in their ivory tower and be like, "You're gonna," I don't even know what did the numbers come out, what the pay cut was that they were taking. It's if players spend enough time or spend enough in-game currency in the PlayStation Store for Epic Games, they get a bigger cut or something like that.
I mean,
think
Epic
something
agreed
like
to the deal, so it must not have been
Well,
that bad.
That's also Sony holding what's the player base on PS4?
84 million at the time or something like that.
Holding 84 million accounts, dangling the fruit. I mean,
But okay, I said this earlier today. Video games are business.
Yeah.
mhm.
That's
They
what
are.
it is. Like, it's business, and
I mean, Epic's not passing that cost to us necessarily. Like
a $20 skin.
a $20 skin, I guess they kind of are.
Yeah.
I could buy three
just don't-
skins
I don't
or a
feel
four-
any sympathy.
But it's a free game. You don't have to buy the skin. It's a free game.
Yeah, but I could
Yeah.
buy 3 skins or Pokemon Snap.
But they know what they're doing. Like, they have psychologists telling, like, they're saying that this is causing addiction in kids and so on and so forth. They know what they're doing.
Oh, yeah.
And so I don't feel any sympathy for Sony charging them. I don't care about that. But it's weird. It's definitely weird. But I don't. Epic's
I
going to
think
get no sympathy from me.
I think what pisses people off is that Sony's narrative is, no, we're trying to protect the PlayStation kids from the Xbox kids. And at the end of the day, it was,
They
no,
don't
we want
wanna
a bigger
hepatitis
piece of
for
pie.
the PlayStation kids, so that makes sense.
Gosh.
There's no way to protect you in a Call of Duty lobby.
You know what?
I
You
mean,
can take your adaptive triggers and shove them right up your.
They're just trying to, the Xbox kids are a little grimy and a little dirty. Just trying to.
Ow! Wow. That's at hate zero with a Z. Okay. The FPS boost, though. Let's talk about this. I jumped in. Celeste, I don't think got it, but Hollow Knight did. So I jumped into that.
144 hertz.
Yeah,
Zooming.
or 100. I mean, what's the difference?
120. I guess not 120. 144 is the default on a lot of PCs. So,
Right,
but
right,
120
right.
hertz, they just doubled what people were wanting with 60. So
Yeah, so played that at 120. Smooth as butter, of course. I mean, it's Hollow Knight. Like, what do you need 120 for anyway, right? Like, it's.
you just need to
It's-
watch all the frames you get hit by the bosses that kill you.
Gotcha. But I jumped into. I was like, you know what? This is prime time to jump into Gears 4, and started making my way through that story on Insanity, which was nuts. By the way, I was getting sniped while diving. I couldn't believe it, but yeah, it was good. It was crazy. There was one part I was like, oh, you get to those parts in those really hard games, you're like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do
But you
this.
see just wall that you're going to have a fight.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. So, but I mean, that game running at 60 feels modern, right? And I mean, it's an Xbox One game. It's not like it was a 360 game, but
Mhm.
but
Did you finish that game?
no, I wanted to do that and then do 5 because I haven't finished either of them. So, but Gears has that cinematic vibe to it. So putting it at 60, it's very smooth. I like it. But you kind of lose that grittiness, the almost like that cinematic feel. But I wouldn't go back. I left the boost on. You know what I mean? Like it looked clean. It looked clean. It makes these older games like it breathes a breath of fresh air into them. And
Yeah.
you know,
So how do you turn it on or off? Is it in game or is it in menu?
this is a good question. So as long as your monitor supports it, yeah.
Depending on, I'd have to look up what my BenQ actually supports, but I have other monitors that can support it if I wanted to truly experience it.
So if you want to try it, you have to, of course, not be in your capture card or whatever. But then you just hit the menu button, press the Xbox button, then press the menu button on the game, and then you go into compatibility is where you're going to go, and it's going to say auto HDR or FPS boost. These games will run the boost without being on your internal also. So you don't have to transfer them back and forth.
That's good.
When you hit your guide button, it will tell you auto HDR is enabled or FPS boost is enabled. I have an article on xboxnow.tv that will link to the Xbox blog that shows you every game that it has, plus which games have it off by default, because there's a couple of them that do. So you just got to make sure it's clicked, and then you're good to go.
That tells me they're optimizing this all the way through their CPU and their GPU and taking the SSD out of it. If you can run it on through USB 3.0.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they look gorgeous. Like they look great. I mean, but there's games like Monster Energy Motocross that got the boost. I'm like, oh, I bet Hate Zero's playing that one.
Yep. Super excited. Been waiting.
Okay, that's an hour and 16 minutes. Do you guys feel like we've pressed pause long enough?
I think we paused long
Like,
enough.
did we
I feel
pause
like
long
that's
enough for a
adequate.
Game of Returnal? So you can go back and
Probably not quite.
not-
Not for a full run, at least.
got it. Hey, where can we find you?
You'll find me here whenever we do it. You know,
Nothing next week. I'm out of town.
you won't find me here next week. Maybe next week I'll finally, salute my shorts and do the shorts thing on the YouTubes. Maybe you'll see me. But yeah, hit me up Twitter. Come join the Discord. Go talk in main chat. No one else does.
Come talk in main chat if you understand the salute your shorts reference there.
Can't rouse anyone to talk in main chat. Like, it was like 4 hours, no one talking to me. I'm like, dude, what are we doing here? Like, there's thousands of you and a lot of green. Like, I see everyone's online. Nobody's talking. Like, nothing. So come hang out. Throw some shade at me. If you're an Xboxer, you want to tell me you don't have hepatitis, come do it. Bring it on. Let's do it.
Don't make Eric start doing at everyone. Then you're just gonna.
Every message, just at everyone. Crawler, where can we find you?
You guys can find me hanging out here in the Discord, n64josh.com/discord. Playing Monster Hunter, playing Returnal, playing Titanfall 2 with Josh this weekend. That was good.
It was fun.
I'm rusty in that game. I spent so much time in that game, but I'm rusty. But it was fun.
Yeah.
I'm hoping for Titanfall 3. We got to get it.
I jumped into Apex last night, and man,
It transitions pretty well. It's just you don't have wall running.
yeah, but man, Apex is like it's kind of the jam right now. Like I jump back.
Yeah, I mean they just had an update, and it's
It's very smooth. It's very smooth.
Quick story. This is real quick. The first match I'm in, I just just filled or whatever, so nobody, like, I didn't know who I was playing with. Usually there's no mics, right? You don't usually hear anybody. All of a sudden I hear a girl scream, like she was startled, like, ah, and I was like, wait, what's the deal? She's like, that Octane looks like a skeleton, and it really scared me. Like, she had like a jump scare in Apex. So I wished I recorded the gameplay, but I couldn't get the voice chat to come through because I don't have it hooked up to my capture card like that. But I was cracking up and and I was muted, so I was laughing and talking to her, and I'm like, oh, she must think I'm a creep or something. She won't say anything. And then I unmuted and I was like, hey, did that thing really scare you? And she's like, yeah, it scared me. So yeah, it's a good time. But you guys can find me everywhere at N64Josh. XboxNow.tv, the website's up. The podcast, the YouTube page, going strong. I've been streaming over there. I streamed Resident Evil 7 last weekend, the Titanfall 2. I've been doing a bunch of remote play with Celeste and other indies and stuff, Hollow Knight. So jump into the Discord, n64josh.com/Discord. Coming out. It's a good time. We chat. I'm still doing the TikTok thing, having a good time over there. It's yeah, I'm staying very busy. So I'll be on a show tomorrow morning called the Xbox Factor Podcast. And it's about a 2-hour show starting at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern. And it's a lot of good.
You'll have to ask them how they keep their encoder from crashing 2 hours long.
They use it's actually ingenious. You got to pay for it, but we would jump into a call, and even if my power went out or something, you guys would still be
recorded,
still be good to go. And
So cloud based or something.
I think so.
Server based, cloud based. Something.
Yeah.
That's
So
nice.
so I may look into that for future stuff. So, but yeah, that's gonna do it. Chat. We love you guys. We'll see you in the next one. Bye now.